Somebody, oh jeez.
It's not even live.
Well,
That you were talking.
okay. Well, I was speaking. You're interrupting, please.
I was.
Okay.
And you were
so,
interrupting.
Mike, this is why I asked you to go to another room.
I don't
because
really
there's interrupters in
understand
the room.
what the
Okay,
point of
so, Mike, do you want to continue the conversation in other room? Because there are people in here who will not allow us to have
You
that.
seem to be.
Well, of course you don't, because you don't want to actually answer my questions.
I wouldn't
Dawkins,
advise it, Mike. It's really not worth it.
Dawkins,
You should continue this.
That's why I'm staying here. I want to stay here.
Mike,
Okay, so Mike.
Antagonize, whatever.
Please.
What's that?
Richard,
Right.
please let Dawkins get the question out. I know you were talking, but please let him.
Okay.
Well, I just like to finish. I just like to finish my
evidence that
sentence.
you present.
I just like to finish what I was saying right before Dawkins.
Okay, now what's going on is trolling here. He's trying to disrupt me.
You were interrupting me, right?
And Nadia
me.
tolerates it. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on muting you as you're muting me. Simple as that, and we're going to get nowhere.
Yeah. There are only 4 seats.
Well, that's because Nadia is not doing squat diddly to stop the trolling.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I would
stop you.
Yeah, prefer.
Well, I've been screenshotting the mutings, and it looks like you have way more than Richard there.
Well, no, he's just
by about a 8 to 1 margin.
I don't care. Okay, he started muting me first. So Mike,
you were over talking
me.
Right,
Mike. So
I don't really see why.
Mike, does the evidence presuppose?
You overtalk me, right? I don't really see what the point of allowing you to overtalk.
So what Dawkins is about to ask you, Mike, is if the evidence presupposes the uniformity of nature. But of course, any evidence presupposes the uniformity of nature, right?
Okay, now, since you just said that, why don't you account for that?
Okay, I will.
Very briefly. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to keep muting people until
This is very mature. It shows a lot of, I mean, you really want to engage in intellectual conversation, obviously. I mean, no wonder we should all follow this model.
So, Brojo, if you'll graciously ask Dawkins to refrain from muting me, I'll give you an account of why evidence the uniformity of nature.
No, I'm going to keep on muting people.
Well, that's great. Go ahead, Josh.
Right, so what evidence is an observation predicted by a hypothesis. Now, the only way in which we make predictions is if things follow law-like relations. Now, things follow law-like relations. That's what justifies our expectation. And if we have that expectation, and that expectation is met, then we have evidence. So there's your account.
I don't see how you accounted for it, but that's fine. I'll let that go.
Am I allowed to talk now? For goodness sake.
Okay, so Mike, does the uniformity of nature, is it? Okay,
yeah, Van,
Nadia,
I really like
Nadia,
your
I'm attempting to speak here. Why don't you stop this, Nadia?
Because you're doing it.
Okay.
You're the one doing it. I have it screenshotted.
This is why I have absolutely no respect for you, Nadia, because you tolerate trolling behavior while pretending that it upsets you. Okay.
Are you just giving her an object lesson?
Okay. You tolerate the trolling all the time, and you're.
I didn't mute you
Nadia.
a single time. How many times did you mute me? How many times did you mute me? Were you trolling when you muted me?
I'm counting 30 or so.
Were you trolling when you muted me?
Some kind of.
Well, obviously, Mike, the trolls do not want me to converse with you. So if you'd like to join me, you can, in a separate chat room, just message me. I don't think that you actually have the balls to do so, but I did extend the invitation. To
I don't think you have the balls to answer our objections.
Well, I'm castrated. So anyway,
Dawkins,
the
like I
main
said,
thing is,
you know,
Hey, can
I
someone
like,
drop out because Matt wants to
like I told
engage in that
Arcane,
dialogue with
opinions
elements?
vary, and
How about you,
know.
bro, Mr. Josiah McLean,
Well,
who
I
has
would.
someone else's name?
I don't even know who's Josiah McClain. But anyway, I would.
I would
Okay,
seriously.
so Mike,
If I wasn't engaged in
does those
conversation.
links that you provided presuppose the uniformity of nature in order for their claims to be valid?
What do you mean by uniformity of nature?
Well, if the uniformity of nature were not true, would those evidences be valid?
He asked you a question. You didn't answer it by asking him a question back. He asked you to explain what
And
you mean by
the trolling continues by
He asked
disrupting my
you.
conversation with
He
somebody else.
asked you.
And Nadia
He
sits
asked
there
you
on
to
his fat ass
explain what
doing
you
nothing.
mean by the uniformity of nature, and then you just asked him a question. Well, how the fuck is that an explanation?
Okay?
Why
And
don't you
the internet
explain?
trolls win
And let
because
people
nobody
actually
wants to
talk.
put a stop to it.
Why
Oh, I
don't you
let
You were
people
calling
talk.
me a troll now?
No, I didn't
Do
call
you
you a
think
troll.
I'm a
There are
troll?
other
Do you
trolls in
think
the
I'm a
room.
troll?
No.
Well then,
Do I think you're a troll? No, I don't.
okay, then
Can
what is
one of you
what
guys
is
drop
the
out? Yes
problem?
or no?
At
What
least
is
not.
the
At least
problem
not yet.
with answering that question? What is the problem with answering my question to define and explain what you mean by the uniformity of nature? Is that trolling to ask a question
Well,
like that? Not in my book.
No, I didn't. Well, first of all, I don't even know what you're actually talking about because none of my comments were directed at you.
I'm explaining what Josh was trying to explain, which is that,
Well,
or Philip, I don't know which one it was.
okay, sweetheart. Hey,
I
sweetheart.
know
I
that
generally
you don't
ignore
talk
the
to some puppet,
trolls.
but I had the same question,
Yeah. Okay.
which
well,
was
when
Mike asked you a question, which was simply to explain what you meant.
Yeah,
That
but
is a
he
valid
doesn't
question,
understand.
and you did not
If
answer it.
Mike doesn't understand
Defining
the
terms
rudimentary
is pretty
fundamental.
important.
Okay. Did you want me to answer you, or are you just going to talk over me like
Yes,
a
go ahead.
histrionic
I
woman?
totally
Hey,
apologize.
Good.
are
Then
one of
why
you
don't you
guys
shut your
drop out?
mouth
And
and
hold up,
let
I
me
don't know why
speak?
you just addressed me by my full name. That's really creepy
Okay.
because my name
So
doesn't pop up like that.
anyway,
But please don't ever call me that ever again in your entire life.
It used to be your
Okay, but
profile
is
name, dear.
that the name now?
Okay.
Is that the name now? Or is it
Okay.
No, because people you
Okay.
changed it to because
It's
people stopped letting you
Brojo.
in
That's
because
enough.
you were
I don't want to hear a
sniping.
word from your mouth.
You
Hello?
were sniping, and
That wasn't
people would
sniping.
let you in.
Hello?
You liar.
Hello? Am I coming
It's on
through?
video, dear.
You know, Nadia, all of this bad behavior that goes on in these rooms is a direct reflection of how poorly you run the rooms. And the reason why is because you choose to.
Now I wonder if
And you all you want is a
You mind?
circus rather than
Hold
adults
up.
actually
Can
conversing.
you leave the call unspeakable?
Really quickly,
I would.
Because you're becoming a liar here, and it doesn't do
Well,
It's
Dawkins.
actually all
hold on
recorded,
a
dear.
sec,
It's
Philip.
not a lie at all. It's all
go ahead,
recorded.
leave the call, please.
It's all recorded. Why would I leave the call?
Look,
Because
the thing
Why would I
is
leave the
that
call?
liar.
That's interesting. I've never actually spoken with you. However, I actually have seen all of the evidence of you doing exactly that. There's a million posts saying, "Do not let Josiah into the rooms." Thus, your name change. It's pretty a logical progression from cause to effect. Seems to me that there's no lie involved.